Well, g'day everyone. Welcome to another edition of Chewing the Fat. Bevo here with you on the eve of a big game tonight between the Adelaide Strikers and the Sydney Sixers in the Big Bash. Who better talk about it than the man who knows all about the Big Bash, doing great things with Channel 7. That is Jim Wilson. Jim, great to have you on, mate.
Bevo, nice to be with you on Chewing the Fat. Hi, everyone. It's I'm looking forward to tonight. I mean, I love the Adelaide Oval. I think it's arguably one of the most beautiful grounds in the world. So to host tonight for Seven Cricket, it's I'm looking forward to it. I think the Strikers are the defending champions. The Sixers actually haven't beaten the Strikers since January 2015. So it's been 4 years they've been toiling hard, the Sixers. But it's interesting tonight because Sixers going 3-3. They were a bit stiff against the Hurricanes, who chased well the other night, and the Strikers, well, they're the defending champions, and they're 3-2. They've played one less game. So I'm looking forward to it. It's a beautiful night for cricket, and where else would you rather be?
Exactly right. The Strikers got back to some good form with a really good win on New Year's Eve, and then also against the Renegades by 32 runs. So this one should be a big one tonight. Of course, I know Alex Carey for the Strikers, and Travis Head, of course, is playing in the fourth test at the moment. Do you think the Strikers still have the ability to go and win 3 in a row?
Yeah, I do. I think they're a good side. I think when you're throwing the likes of Carey and Weatherald and then Rashid Khan's been amazing. I mean, Rashid Khan, to me, he's only 20 years of age from Afghanistan, but to me, he's arguably one of the great bowlers in World T20 cricket, and he's been super successful. I think tonight, even though I think the Sixers aren't a bad side, and Jordan Silk's been in great form, and I think Tom Curran, there's a lot to like about the England international, but I just feel like tonight at home and just their dominance of the Sixers in recent years, I think that will continue tonight.
And the fourth test, of course, is happening at the moment. Unfortunately, Australia's been made to follow on, Jim, and it's certainly not looking too good. They're probably going to end up losing that one 3-1. I've sort of been thinking about this, and I think T20 has a lot to do with why our batting's so poor, and obviously losing Smith and Warner certainly doesn't help. But yeah, what's your thoughts on it?
I think you probably raised some good points. I think when you take someone like a Warner and a Smith out of a side, and even Bancroft, I think probably out of the three, if you are going to ask me who's going to come back into the Australian team this year, for example, for a World Cup or for the Ashes, I'd say Smith and Warner are way ahead of Bancroft, and especially with the way that Marcus Harris is going. I think Marcus Harris could easily open the batting with David Warner, and I think Smith and Warner will come back into the side. But just on our batting wise, as I said, you take out one of the best batsmen in the world in Smith, and Warner, who can take apart an attack. But I've been saying for a while now, even when Smith and Warner and Bancroft were playing, I think our top 6 or 7 as a unit have been suspect for a lot of years. And I think maybe 2020 cricket might have been detrimental, and maybe their rush, their shot selection isn't there. But even with those guys in the side, I still think that they have been suspect. There's been big question marks, and the alarm bells have been ringing for quite a while. So, it's disappointing. As you said, they've had to follow on today. First time we've actually had to do that on Australian soil since 1988. So it's not a stat that we want to be proud of to start 2019. But no, I think India. But having said that, I'm going to give India a lot of credit. They've come here to play. Kohli is one of the most steely, focused individuals I've ever seen in world sport, not just cricket. And he's been on a mission. He wanted to win a test series on Australian soil. They're going to do that. And with the likes of Bumrah, they've finally got an attack. They've always had good batsmen, and they've always had the odd, Kumble or Ashwin. But now they've got some good medium fast bowlers, and that's, taking 20 wickets in a match. They've been able to do that. I was super impressed with him in Melbourne, and I've been, again, very, very impressed with the way the Pujara, Pant went about the first innings. Once you get past 600, it's a long way back, and they basically ground Australia into the SCG dirt, and they've done it very effectively, and they deserve to win the series.
Well, you've actually answered my question. I was going to say, is this Indian attack probably one of the best attacks in the world at the moment? You'd have to say yes, do you reckon?
Yeah, Shami and Bumrah, they're good, Jadeja. And Ashwin hasn't even been there, and Sharma's out injured, Ishan Sharma. So, they're a good attack. I think when you pound for pound right now, they deserve to be mentioned in the same breath as any of the best attacks going around. And I put Australia's, I think Australia's attack has shouldered so much of the responsibility for so long. Stark, Hazelwood, Cummins, and Lyon. The concern for me from a bowling perspective with Australia as well is that Hazelwood and Stark have plateaued a bit. Cummins is, I think, a superstar. But what happens if Nathan Lyon goes over? There's not a lot of other spinners knocking down the door. So I'm interested to see Lloyd Pope tonight. I mean, he plays for South Australia. He's playing for the Sixers tonight. They've brought him into the side tonight, the 19-year-old. He's got a bit of a cult following, Lloyd Pope. Bowls the leggies. I mean, I think slow bowling stocks right now around the world, even in the Big Bash. I mean, who would have thought it? Big Bash and 2020 cricket is now dominated by slow spin bowlers, and it's great to see. And there's some really great young talent emerging. I mentioned Rashid Khan, Majib up in Brisbane is another great talent. Sandeep, the Nepalese from the Melbourne Stars. Lloyd Pope's coming through. I think it's terrific for cricket. But yeah, we certainly have got our work cut out for us going into a World Cup year and into an Ashes series with the Duke ball in England. It worries me big time, the reverse swing with our batting. And I think England, I know we beat them last year, or the last time we played them in Australia, but I just feel like England will be absolutely bring this on. We can't wait to face Australia, even with Smith and Warner back.
Yeah, I'm certainly a bit worried about that one. And the World Cup as well, England's certainly one of the best teams in the world and probably deserve to be favourites in that. Jim, before I let you go as well, the Aussie Open starts Monday week. It's going to be huge. Who do you think are the chances for the Aussies in terms, or I guess the men's and the women's draw overall? Firstly, we'll start with that, then we'll talk about the Aussies.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's the usual suspects, isn't it? I mean, I think that, we're coming to the end of a great era of arguably the greatest of all time in Roger Federer, and Serena Williams, who's chasing an 8th Australian Open and chasing a 24th Grand Slam singles title, which would draw her level with titles with Margaret Court, the great Australian. And then you throw in people like, well, Rafa's got a bit of an injury question mark on him, Novak Djokovic, Andy Murray's on the comeback trail. There's some greats of the game, and so hopefully they're all fit. But no, I think that it's the last. I think we're getting to the end of a golden era. And this is probably the last hurrah for a number of players before they maybe say, you know what, this is our last Australian Open campaign. But we saw with Roger at the Hopman Cup, he's in good form. Serena is Serena, and she's an absolute champion. So, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. As far as the Aussies go, I mean, I think Ash Barty had a wonderful 2018. Alex de Minaur had a very good 2018. Whether they can go well into the second week is a big question mark for me. And Nick Kyrgios, well, what are you going to get with Nick? I mean, it's like you just don't know what Nick Kyrgios will turn up at Melbourne Park. So, but no, I think it'll be an interesting tournament and an interesting couple of weeks. And as I said, it's going to be some amazing storylines. But I mean, how good's January? It's a whole new year. We've got cricket, absolute cricket feast. We've got a bit of tennis. It's terrific. Yeah.
Well, Jim Wilson, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on Chewing the Fat today, and looking forward to a big game tonight between the Strikers and the Sixers. Thanks once again for your time, mate.
No worries, and you haven't sledged me about Carlton.
No, I'll leave that for another time.
You're usually straight on the front foot with me, mate, about Carlton. Oh, Doherty, mate, Doherty. Can we not mention Doherty? But anyway, we stick through thick and thin at the Blue Baggers, and how good's Patrick Cripps?
Yes, absolute superstar. And you got McGovern as well now. So.
I know, but let's talk more about Patrick Cripps. How good's Patrick Cripps, everyone? I've got the official man crush on Patrick Cripps.
If I only had a team of Patrick Cripps, though, that's the problem.
You're right, Bev. Enough of that. Nice being on Chewing the Fat. And Happy New Year. A belated Happy New Year, everyone. Yeah,
likewise, yeah.